Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second book breakdown in my 52-book Robin Collection reading order. The graphic novel we'll be looking at today is Batman Haunted Knight by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sales. Now, this novel is an absolute masterpiece and masterclass in both having a good time and telling fun, goofy stories for Batman around the holiday times that we all know and love. This novel also showcases the Caped Crusader in all of his gritty glory. From the very first page, readers are pulled into a world of darkness, fear, and mystery as Loeb weaves a complex and engaging tale that explores the many facets of the Batman character and ethos. One of the most standout features of Haunted Knight is its stunning artwork. The illustrations by Tim Sale are simply breathtaking, capturing the brooding and menacing nature of Batman with incredible detail and nuance. Every panel is meticulously crafted, with an attention to detail that makes the world of Gotham feel alive and immersive all at the same time. But as good as the artwork is in Haunted Knight, it would be nowhere else without its storytelling. Loeb is a master of his craft, and he weaves a gripping narrative that keeps readers on the edge of their seats from start to finish. The three interconnected stories that make up the book, titled Fears, Madness, and Ghosts, each explore a different aspect of Batman's psyche, delving deep into his fears, his obsessions, and his past. Looking at a brief synopsis of all three stories, in Fears, the first chapter, we see Batman facing his darkest fears as he battles the Scarecrow, a villain who has the power to make his victims see their worst nightmares. This story is a true showcase of Batman's bravery and determination, as he must confront his own inner demons in order to save the people of Gotham. These are very standard themes among most Scarecrow-related stories in Batman comics. In the second chapter, Madness, we see Batman going up against the Mad Hatter, a villain who has the power to control people through mental and chemical means of manipulation. The story explores Batman's obsession with justice and his willingness to sacrifice himself in order to protect others. And in the third chapter, titled Ghosts, Batman must face off against various villains, including the Penguin and the Joker, in ghostly phantom-like forms. This is a recreation and modern reboot with a comic book twist on the old Christmas past, present, and future tales that we've seen many times and across many different mediums. This story delves deep into Batman's past, revealing the traumatic events that shaped him into the hero he is today. Throughout all three stories, Loeb maintains a sense of tension and suspense that keeps the readers hooked. And when the final pages turn, readers are left feeling both satisfied and wanting more. Overall, Batman Haunted Knight is a must-read for any fan of the Caped Crusader. It has absolutely stunning artwork, engaging storytelling, and a deep exploration of Batman's character. I put this book into my Robin 52-book collection in the pre-Robin era, along with Batman Year One, Long Halloween, and Dark Victory. The rest are much grittier stories. This had a much more whimsical and creative charm, as well as also playing on the themes of Bruce's fears, which I feel are a huge factor in impactfulness on the relationship between he and Dick Grayson and the overall training of all the Robins throughout the entire collection. Now to go into a little bit further and detailed look at the plot summary of each chapter of Haunted Knight. Starting with the first chapter, Fears, which launches the trilogy and establishes Gotham as a city overrun by fear and terror with Scarecrow dead center. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne, who struggles to balance his nightlife with his more human side, falls for a mysterious woman with an unclear past. The Bruce Bats dichotomy is a well-trodden ground in comics, but Loeb and Sale handle it deftly without missing a beat. Bruce's troubles are reflected by Batman's woes, and Scarecrow knows exactly how to exploit these issues with deadly accuracy. In my overall experience with Scarecrow and Batman comics, I was never extremely impressed or heavily intimidated by the character. but this story stands as one of the better portrayals of the villain that I've ever read. There's nobody better suited to bring out the dark corners of Bruce Wayne's mind, where the Joker forces Batman to wrestle with chaos for its own sake. Scarecrow smartly plays to Batman's biggest weakness, his undeniable humanity. The third chapter, Fears, easily by a sizable margin, wins the gold medal in my opinion of these three tales as the best one of the Haunted Night graphic novel, punctuated by a percussive and smirk-inducing conclusion that just begs to be adapted to a larger screen. The tale was much meatier and much more complex than any of the other two possibly combined. The second chapter, Madness, drops Bruce Wayne into a thorough exploration of his relationship with his late mother, mirrored in the present day by Mad Hatter's kidnapping of Barbara Gordon and her relationship with Batman mainstay Jim Gordon. I've always thought that Mad Hatter faltered as a villain, if only because his deranged mind does nothing to compensate for his tiny stature, whereas other characters in DC, such as the Riddler or the Trickster, lovingly played by Mark Hamill in live action, were always better examples of very similar character types. Here, he makes up for his shortcomings with ample firepower and Barbara as a critical hostage. Even with the added leverage, Mad Hatter still reads like a cheap caricature rather than a full-fledged villain. Instead, Batman's own inner turmoil, heralded by memories of his mother, plays the real starring villain role. Sure, it is a theme that is a tad overplayed among Batman comics, but the story ends up better off for it. The final chapter, Chapter 3, titled Ghosts, brings the collection to, unfortunately, a lukewarm end. Easily, in my opinion, the least enjoyable of the three, but not by any means necessarily bad, Ghosts reads more like an excuse to retell a Christmas Carol through the Batman lens than a story that deserves to be told. After reading Batman Year One and getting yourself all excited for the Joker coming into the Batman universe, and after an altercation with Penguin, Bruce is visited by the ghosts of his father, followed by three other ghosts who represent past, present, and future. A creative slew of villainous staples appear throughout the tale as titular ghosts, but the narrative moves so quickly that no worthwhile conflict ever truly emerges. In a few action-based tiles between Batman, the Joker, the Penguin, and a few other villains, which all lead to the same comical ending point, by the end I had written Ghosts off as a semi-charming recreation of a classic tale, using the iconic stables of Batman characters in its place. It's definitely worth the read, especially for the entire completion of Batman Haunted Night, the graphic novel. But any deeper meaning eludes this one, and at the end of the day, that's more than just fine with me. In the end, as I stated before, I put this book in my Robin collection as part of, obviously, the trilogy by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sales, but also for itself to give a little bit of breathing point in that pre-Robin era, where the stories are mostly very dark, very serious, very gritty, and very heavy to do with just the chronological story of those early years. These are seen as just very creative, charming, fun Batman stories that are still pre-Robin, but like I said, play on the themes of Bruce Wayne's fears, which I think overall lead into very impactful character development choices in writing throughout many comics with the Robin character. As I stated before, one of the biggest letdowns to me, or really just mischances that this graphic novel truly had, was its ability to capture more of the Joker in the third story. To me, in my personal opinion, Batman-related stories, when you look at Long Halloween or really just any book throughout so many years of Batman stories, when related to holidays, or very specifically the Halloween holiday, the Joker has always been a character that has been used to such high end and high quality scales, and it just felt like a miss in my opinion. Definitely still worth the read, the entire novel, and it's important in my opinion to sort of break up that really deep, dark, heavy, weighed down reading that you get in the pre-Robin era. The next two novels and the last two novels that will be taking place in the pre-Robin era before Dick Grayson's birthday approaching here for March 21st is going to be the very famous two-book first and its sequel, Long Halloween and Dark Victory. We'll either be covering and breaking those down separately on separate days or all together into one. I have not decided yet, but please keep an eye and an ear out for that in any of our Derek's Comments posts or videos. And lastly, I just really want to, as always, thank everyone for watching and subscribing. Please subscribe if you haven't. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoys our content and continues to do so. I hope everyone enjoyed our breakdown of Batman Haunted Knight and will continue to enjoy the rest of the breakdowns for my Robin collection. Thank you all for joining us, and everyone have a great rest of your week, and look out for any future posts and any updates. And, in the words of Dick Grayson, everybody stay whelmed.